Michael Chiesa moving up to 170 to fight Carlos Condit. Very interesting because this is a big move for Michael Chiesa. I don't know how to say his name. I've heard people say Chiesa, I've heard people say Chiesa. I don't give a fuck. We'll call him Michael for now. Now, very big move for him because he's obviously coming off a loss. Back-to-back losses, I do believe, at 155. First to Kevin Lee, who we now know isn't really as good as he thinks he is and we originally thought he was. And then he lost to Anthony Pettis as well, who we also know can't compete at the top of the division. Now, this left Michael Chiesa in a very bad spot because he also missed weight for that 155-pound fight against Anthony Pettis, and he looked rough. He said he almost died, and he's never going to do that weight cut again. Him versus Carlos Condit is very interesting because Michael Chiesa's coming up from 155 to 170. Carlos Condit's the 170-pounder. He's proven at 170 in his past, not so much anymore. And Michael Chiesa, you'd think he'd be the smaller guy. I think he's 100% going to be bigger than Carlos Condit in the fight. 100% he'll be big. He'll be the bigger guy in there. I think Michael Chiesa's going to make Carlos Condit look like a little boy, to be honest with you. I think it's going to be a good move for Michael Chiesa, but I don't think that a win over Carlos Condit really means anything. Because Carlos Condit, I mean, he's highly ranked in the division, but he's lost to Alex Cowboy Oliveira. I can't remember who else he lost to recently, but Cowboy Oliveira is a big one. You know, we saw what happened when Gunnar Nelson fought Cowboy. You know, it's a bit hit and miss whether or not Carlos Condit's going to show up anymore. And also, he's had the belt. He's had the big fights for the belt. What's he doing it for now? Is he just trying to make a bit of paper? Just trying to make a bit of money? Who knows? You know? I don't know. I don't think he's thinking of another streak towards the belt. I think that's the last thing in his mind. I think he's trying to win out his contract so he can take himself elsewhere, most likely Bellator or Rising, because they seem to be paying fighters a lot more than the UFC guys are getting paid. Now, just had to check the mic was plugged in. I think Michael Chiesa gets this one done. I think he gets it done in the second round by submission. I think he's going to be a bit too big for Carlos Condit, and that sounds crazy because he's from a lower weight class. But the amount of weight that Michael Chiesa was cutting, I mean, even looking at him next to Anthony Pettis in their fight, it looked like Pettis was fighting a middleweight. He still beat him. I think the only thing that's wrong with Carlos Condit is he's so small, and I don't think he still has that ability to just take the punishment anymore. You know, he used to have the iron chin. He used to wade forward. Doesn't matter what you throw, I'm throwing 10 times more strikes back your way. I don't think he has that anymore because I don't think he has the drive to be champion. I think he's just trying to ride out his contract and he's seeing if he can get easy fights. And if he thinks that Michael Chiesa is an easy fight because he's coming up from a lower weight class, he's very mistaken. Very, very mistaken. Michael Chiesa is a savage. He's just not good enough to compete at 155 because it's one of the most difficult weight classes in the world. I think Michael Chiesa gets it done by submission in the second round. I just don't rate him as a fighter, though. That's the problem. I don't think that Michael can beat the top of the division at 170 at all. I don't think he can compete. We'll see how he looks against Condit. If he looks like an absolute savage, like a world beater, and absolutely runs through him, even then I'll be skeptical. You know, even then I'll be skeptical. Even then I won't be sold that he's that good at 170 because I don't feel like wins over people like Lawler and Condit really mean too much anymore. You know? I mean, you look at Robbie Lawler, even his ranking's real high in the division. He almost lost to Cowboy Cerrone, and look what other people have been doing to Cowboy Cerrone up and down the division. Darren Till, Jorge Masvidal, all these people. I think these guys like Robbie Lawler and Carlos Condit are only at the top because they're only fighting guys at the top. So that when they lose, their ranking don't shift too much. Oh, so what? You lost to a guy higher ranked than you. You just don't move up. You don't move down in rank. You just don't move up. So we have no idea really where you're at. I think Michael Chiesa gets this one done. Especially because it's a free rounder. It's no main event or anything. Because Michael Chiesa at 155, he showed some cardio problems. You know, he tried to smother Pettis in the first round in their fight. Pettis didn't allow him to smother him. Got back to his feet every time. Threatened with submissions. Eventually got the knockdown in the second round. Came back up with submissions. One thing I will say. Michael Chiesa's striking is lackluster. He's the one UFC fighter in the top 10 that I reckon I could take if it was just a stand-up fight. I reckon I could take Michael Chiesa. I'm joking. All right, he'd definitely beat me. But he's just a bit lackluster with the striking. You know, he doesn't throw with any conviction. He doesn't throw like he's trying to hurt you. He kind of just throws to sort of set up his takedowns. And if the takedown doesn't work, then he just sort of scoots around the octagon for the rest of the round. And if he gets the takedown, then he scoots around the octagon for the rest of the round if you get back up, because he's won the round. You know, he's one of those kind of guys. Very interesting move, though. Who knows? Maybe he moves up to 170 and we see a world beater, Michael Chiesa, and he just knocks out Carlos Condit in the first round. Looks like fucking Anderson Silva in his prime on the feet, but I highly doubt that that's going to happen. But I do think he's going to beat Carlos Condit. But I don't even care. You know what I mean? I don't care if he beats Carlos Condit, because Carlos Condit, as much as he is a legend of the game, fought the best of the best in his prime. Now he's come back. Like, it's just a different sport now, man. These old timers coming back. Like, BJ Penn's fighting this weekend. I don't want to see that shit. That's like watching your granddad get fucked up at a bar. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to see that. I don't want to see BJ Penn fight no more. Yes, he's a legend of the game. Yes, he's a fighter, but the game changes while these guys are off doing their seminars and doing their sort of appearances at clubs and fight clubs and all this. The game changes while you're gone. And I think Carlos Condit has realised that, because he's lost 2 in a row now. I can't fucking think who else he lost to. But I know he lost to Cowboy Oliveira, and he lost to someone else as well. Can't think of the fucking name. It'll come to me. As soon as this recording ended, I'll be like, oh, that's who he lost to. Can't think of it right now, but he's lost 2 in a row. I think if he loses this one, he's going to be looking at retiring. I think he's just trying to ride out his contract, to be honest with you. Chiesa wins by second round. I'll say head and arm choke. North-south? Nah, not a north-south. Not a north-south. How am I seeing this? Let me just channel my fucking amazing mind. Alright. I think he gets it by a head and arm choke or a dash choke. He either gets it in a dash choke, where Carlos Condit sort of ends up in a bad way in a scramble, or he just puts the smush on Carlos Condit and gets him in a head and arm choke, and Carlos Condit taps. We will see. We will see. I do like Carlos Condit's chances on the feet, though. That's a good fight. Good fight. I think Michael Chiesa's got this one. Put your money on him, boys. Thank me afterwards, because I'm, you know me, I'm like 55% right with these predictions, so I'm real trustworthy. See you later, guys. Like and subscribe. Thanks for the channel. Shout out George and Joe and Jack. What's up? See you later, guys. Thanks for watching.